is 5 o'clock, which means we're live.
Yes.
Hello. Yay. Thank you, Jason SweetTooth Williams, for joining us today on The Show Must Go Online. And thanks for everyone watching at home.
Yeah, thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm feeling great. You know, it's finally a nice day out, which can be a little conflicting when you want to go to a park or you want to go swimming, but you know you have to stay inside. But you know what? It's all, like we were saying before, for a good cause. So I try not to complain too much. How about you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll take the sun anytime, any day. So that's good. And I'm just happy to be chatting with you here. And I'm staying currently at my parents' place in Connecticut, and they happen to have like land, like some grass and some trees. And so it's actually I've taken a little advantage of this nice weather, which is great.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm out here in Washington State, as I like to say, and we have a little backyard, and I get to take our dog Slim out for a walk there. And once again, like very grateful because I know if I were back in New York, where I normally am, that walking would not be such an available thing. So I'm very grateful to have this like little patch of land that we can walk, and it's just the two of us, just me and the dog.
Absolutely. It's like, what a weird thing that we can be excited about, like being able to walk somewhere.
I know.
And we have it pretty good if that's our situation. So
Yes.
What a weird place we're in together.
What a weird place. I know. It's certainly like been getting me in this perspective, like thinking about like pre and post this, which I know a lot of people have, but if there was like a show on Broadway that I wanted to see, or like one of those little concerts at 54 Below, and I thought, oh, you know what, maybe I'll catch it next week or I'll catch it next time. Now I'm like, oh, better catch that now. When
Yeah, absolutely. I also love how you refer to the concerts at 54 Below as those little concerts at 54 Below. No, I'm just busting you. I'm busting you. But no, absolutely. It's like, we got to take advantage of the stuff we can take advantage of while it's here, for real.
Yes.
That's a real thing, yeah.
She's going to be messaging me like,
don't call them little. They're massive. They're important. They are life-changing, and they are.
They are. They're amazing.
Where are you right now? So you said you're in Washington?
Yep, about an hour outside of Seattle. So
okay, I'm not asking for your like exact address. That would be weird.
We are located at.
Because I spent some time in my life once at Bainbridge Island. Is that at all familiar to you?
Not to me, but I'm sure to my boyfriend.
All right. Well, there you go. Bainbridge Island, cool place. Go see it in 6 months, people.
Yeah.
And
it's so weird because this is my first time out here, like, and I had it all planned for like months because we just celebrated his birthday. So we were gonna go to like some sporting events, walk around nature, and then it was like, oh, now I'm visiting here for like a long time and I can't see anything.
Right. You're going to get really acquainted with his kitchen.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know about you. Have you been making any specific like quarantine food?
Oh, yeah. Listen, I'm like a huge chef. I think in another life, I actually was a chef as my career. Nice. And I'm staying, like I said, I'm staying with my parents. And my mother, I think, was also a chef in another life. So together we're unstoppable. We're like chopped champions. We're Iron Chef quality chefs. So yeah, we're doing lots of stuff. I don't know. Again, like I said, I feel like it's a weird thing to like be like we're having fun, right? Because some people aren't having fun, but that's part of the fun for me.
Yeah, I think I've been speaking a lot with my friend Elisa, who goes by Dr. Drama on all the things. And she's been saying a lot about like, do what feels right for you. So if you're having a good day and you're like celebrating with your family and friends, like you can honor that. And it's okay to be feeling positive because then like if you are having a bad day, you can look back at the good ones and not to, because I know I've been feeling that too. And it's good to like honor whatever feelings are,
Sure. Yeah, you only have your own life to live, so.
Exactly. So I want to say hi to everyone watching at home. I have all these comments. Judy saying, hello, beautiful day here in Michigan, and tomorrow it's supposed to rain all day. I feel that it's been raining here the last few days, so get ready. It is. It's very interesting when you're inside and you see rain. It is actually nicer to have the nice weather, regardless of if you can go out or not. Margie, who we love so much, one of the producers of Broadway Bounty Hunter, says, "Oh,
Oh, hey,
Jason."
Margie, what's up?
Yes. Samuel Paddock says, "Jason, you rock so much." So true. Uh, Someone who I don't know, Annie Cog. It's not far from you. Show. Oh, cool. The island. I'll definitely check that out.
Oh,
And
there you go.
yeah, awesome. And Cindy, Mara is getting spoiled by grandma, isn't she?
Yes, for sure. There's so much grandma in Mara's life right now. We can never duplicate this, and it's going to be tough for her to go back for sure.
I bet. I cannot get over that Broadway Bounty Hunter video she did.
Listen, she's amazing. She is her own little star, and she only needs like the littlest bit of like coaxing, and then she will just go. She's a real like theater chick. You know, she's a really funny girl. Yeah.
So funny. I love that. So I guess we're gonna go a little like in a weird order today, because that's what these are all about, going with the flow.
Sure.
I loved the Broadway Bounty Hunter release cast album, like viewing party on YouTube. We were over here dancing and singing. What was it like for you?
Yeah, I mean, same essentially. It was the whole lead up to the album was actually kind of crazy because it came out on that midnight on Thursday, and then we had that listening party on Friday. But prior to that, those of us that were involved with making the thing were getting emails and mixes and sort of making sure it was as everyone wanted it to be for the release and everything. So I was more anxious to like share it with the world. And I think sort of Joe Icona said it the best when he was like, you have this thing that you think is really good, and you're so close to it, and you spend all this time listening to it, and you start to like lose perspective on it. Yep. And you're like, I just hope people like it. Yeah. But when it came out and we were part of that chat on YouTube and experiencing it with everybody, it was so cool. And I just literally can't sit still when I listen to it. And I think that's like a real testament to Joe and to Charlie Rosen and to the music of the piece, where it's just like every song I need to like move my body to it. And there really aren't that many albums like that will do that to you, right. Musical theater or otherwise. It's just there's something in it that's like essential to your body that like makes you move. And so we just had a blast listening to it, and we were very apart, of course, but we were together in a fun way. And a little like insider bit of information about that is that after the listening party happened, the whole cast got together, and our director, Jen Werner, and everybody on Zoom, and we just, checked in and just said congratulations to each other. And I love you guys, that sort of congratulations call. And so it was really cool. It was a special way to end it.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. I know a lot of people in the comments were talking about, it's just like one bop after another. It's, you don't always find that there might be like, oh, I love these 3-5 songs or whatever. But then there's like different levels like this. And of course, Be More Chill, which like everyone watching who knows me knows that I'm obsessed with it. But
well, me too. So good.
We have that in common.
Yes.
And I just saw that Joe Iconis is watching. Hey.
Oh God, he is. I better be good.
Yeah, right.
Good. Well, no, but like the fun thing about all those bops is that they're like so fun to listen to, and like I said, you just have to move. But when you do sit and like get into the lyrics and all that, there's also all this other stuff going on, and I just think that's like such a trademark of Joe, of his music and his style, where it's like you're on sort of one trajectory with a song, and then suddenly you're hit with this other side of it, and it's a really complex way to create music, and he does it the best. So
yeah, I love it. I love all of it. And he just commented, hey there. You're doing great.
Hey dude, what's up?
I think he was saying that to you, but I'm gonna also take that from me.
No, he's saying it to the world. To the world.
You're doing great, world.
Yes.
Maybe right now. The world is a little crazy.
They're trying.
So it's kind of cool because Be More Chill was the first opening night that I got to cover, which certainly holds this like special place in my heart. And I did that for Theater Pizzazz. And then Broadway Bounty Hunter was the first off-Broadway show I got to cover like for Bwaysho.com. So these two shows that you and Joe are a part of, like, just hold these like really, really special places for me. It's just like, it's cool when you get to cover these things where you really like the people as well. And it just seems like those two families are filled with these amazing, amazing people.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like actually it's just one big family, and it's just an extension of itself. And that opening night of Be More Chill is something that I also will never forget. That was my first Broadway opening, and Broadway Bounty Hunter was the first opening of a show that I had been a part of writing. And so, like, seriously, and really within a few months' time to have both of those experiences happen, it's like mind-boggling. 2019 was a year that was just full of epic dreams coming true, and also like weird heartache associated with some of those things. But
yes,
the dreams coming true is the thing I will take from 2019 for sure.
It's a great perspective. And
yeah.
Now that it has been a little bit of time, have you been able to look back at, those experiences and pick some of those good and some of the sad and all the emotions that come along with it?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest sad, I think, for either of those things is that I think that they should still be happening. And so, I have no sadness about the experiences themselves and about my time, making those things and being part of those things. The weird thing that I think sometimes is that, if Be More Chill had, say, gotten its full year run that I hoped it would have, I would have only just finished that first year contract. And so, it ended, and there were 6 months after it that I, in my mind, was still preparing to do it. And so I think that's, a hard thing to like come to terms with, where you're like, I just feel like this was a piece that was good enough to continue on and to be seen by the world. But like I said, no regrets. And I love both shows immensely. And it's the type of art that I want to be making. And so there's nothing else I can ask for, and nothing else that I can control.
Right.
So, no sense in getting down about those things, and actually only propels me to continue making the things that I care about and doing it again and the next time until I'm 95 years old and doing it again.
Yeah, exactly. There was something so cool and special about the fandom around Be More Chill that like I hadn't really seen personally, like at the stage door, inside, like just the amount of people that were so passionate and excited, and they would become friends with each other just from having seen each other at other shows. And like, I know I certainly made some really cool friends just because it was like, okay, we're always here on Wednesdays for the post-show hang. Like, who are you? We need to talk.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we started as cast members to also know these people. And, some people that saw Be More Chill 10, 11, 12, 20 times, when you see people 20 times and like chat with them and like get to know them, they're part of your life,
Yeah.
But nothing really could have prepared me for what it was like to experience the stage door at Be More Chill. I mean, I really think I could have my entire career pass by and never quite have that level of insane, and I say that in the best way, love be bestowed upon me and the rest of us that were part of that show. To just be like, cheered and celebrated by like real cool people that just feel like embraced by something. I mean, it's a real simpatico, and to see those people on the street and be like, I feel the same way, and I feel like this piece spoke to me and it speaks to you, and like, let's hug it out. And it was a really special thing. And it goes beyond the show. There's so many people that like sent letters and created fan art, and just these people that, were really inspired to create their own art from this piece of art.
Right.
And like, that's the only reason I think to do anything is to inspire other people to do the best thing that they can do. And so it was an immaculate moment in my life, for sure.
That is so well said. As I lead up to these type of interviews, I always like to go back through the body of work of like the interviews and the songs that I have filmed, which I'm so lucky to have filmed so much with you and Joe Iconis. And honestly, I've been watching a lot of those post-show hangs because they were just this like beautiful moment that I wish could happen more on Broadway, that you have this amazing show that everyone like signed up for, and then you get to like hang out and see some of like the human side of these people. So what was it like doing that Black Suits reunion?
Oh, I mean, the Black Suits is and always will be one of the most important and special moments of my life. And it actually, it was where I met Joe, of course. And it was how I met Lance Rubin, who I wrote Broadway Bounty Hunter with. And it's where I met Annie Golden. And so like, it's this like defining moment in my life. And also I remember, I first did the Black Suits as part of Joe's thesis project at NYU grad school. And I've since done a number of readings through that program. And so usually on the first day, and I discovered this through the Black Suits, is that, you sit down and you do a read through of the show. And usually or oftentimes the writer will sing through the score because, no one knows it yet. And it's just like, here's the show. And I just remember like sitting there and I knew nothing. I was 23 years old and I just wanted something exciting in my life. And just hearing Joe sing through the score of the Black Suits for like myself and for Annie Golden, who was like already a hero to me in this tiny room at NYU, and to just think, oh my God, this is something that's actually out there, and things are this good and things are this relatable to me, was amazing. So I really sort of put the Black Suits up on this pedestal, or this like defining moment in my life. And when we did get to do the production of it through SPF, which was the summer play festival that the Public Theater did, it was a short-lived program. I think 2008 might have been the year. But anyway, it was myself and again, Lance Rubin and Annie Golden and Nick Blaymeyer and Jason Tam and all of these amazing artists that are now like my best friends, who are like amongst the most talented people I know. And so like to do something, and I think there was a sort of sweet naivete to my own thinking about it, where I had no idea how lucky I had it at that time.
Yeah.
To just be with these people that I was like, oh, everyone is this kind and great and sweet and talented. And, many people are, but to put that group of people in a room, it was like a lightning in a bottle kind of moment, I think. And so I have nothing but like lovely, fond memories for it.
That's awesome. Yeah, it was so much fun to see all in the outfits and to see Jason Tam like in the full squip outfit.
Well, yeah, when we were preparing for that, it was like, I was like, what should I do? What should I wear? And Jason Tam was like, I have no choice. I can't get out of this thing. It's like built on my body. So I have to just come out in this thing, which I just think added a whole level of like wonderful weirdness to the whole thing. Right. And to be on stage with those guys. And also, I think we all felt at that, like back in 2008, that like, we're going to be on Broadway with this show. Like we felt like this was the thing that was going to take us there. And so in a way it did take us there, and we were able to sing that song together with each other on Broadway.
Yeah. And Nick's actually, Nick Blaymeyer's coming on The Show Must Go On line next Wednesday at 5, which is
nice.
Very exciting. And he said that it's an anniversary at that time. So amazing timing, very excited. It's just so cool to see, like, how the Joe Iconis and family has introduced so many worlds. And, you said that's how you met him. Like, you've done so much together. Like, what has that meant to you?
Well, it's a lifelong relationship. And the people that you can have in your life for, like, a lifetime are few and far between. I think it's maybe your very best friend or two, maybe your parents if they're with you, maybe a boyfriend, girlfriend, or a significant other. There's like a handful of people I think that mean that much to you in your heart. And Joe is one of those people for me, and it's an amazing thing to be a fan of somebody to a degree where like you would just it's the person that you would follow as a fan to the ends of the earth. And then when you discover that you would also follow that person to the ends of the earth as a human, and as like a loved one, it's a really rare, amazing thing. And Joe was the best man at my wedding. Joe, we are. It's a lifetime, and it just goes. There's no second guessing what it is. It's just like we're going to work together and hang out together, and it's just a perfect collaboration.
Yeah, and you can tell when the two of you are together, and really when the whole family's together. It's just like one cohesive group. It's so nice. I loved it. It was really cool being at his pipe night at the Players.
Yeah.
Because it's such like an intimate space, such a cool honor. You guys singing around a piano. What was that experience like?
Well, yeah. So the Players Club, for people that don't know, is like this storied theatrical fraternity, I would say, almost. And it's a place where it's a club and a building where you go into. It's this beautiful old building by like what's the park? I forget the park it's off of. Someone correct me online, but this beautiful park. It's like this old New York society, and it's this club that's celebrating people in the arts, and there are literally like portraits of like, Edwin Booth and like the most like sort of famous theatrical personalities of all time. And so Joe was selected to receive a sort of honorary pipe night, they call it, at the Players Club. And so just to be in the building, we all felt a little bit like we tricked somebody, like we were being punked, or like, we didn't belong here in this way, but we did belong, and it was cool to be singing songs, with Edwin Booth looking down on you from above a piano, and to be singing like the Whiskey Song, and it's like sort of these pieces that I feel like are pushing the art of musical theater to its next level, and just felt like the sort of next stage of musical theater and theatrical arts. And also just anytime I can be around a piano with my friends and have a drink in my hand, or not for those that don't drink, but just to like experience, just hanging out and have anybody care about that is a miracle. And we had a great night. It was very special.
Yeah, it was really cool. And Joe's coming through again saying Gramercy Park.
Gramercy Park. I'm sorry, Joe. I'm sorry. I failed you. It's okay if you don't want to work with me again. It's fine.
This was a defining moment.
Yes. It all ended tonight.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Shoshana.
No. So, okay, I know we both joked about it online beforehand, but the Pants song is one of my favorite pieces of art, because it's just like, you don't know where it's going to go, and then it just gets like right in there, like metaphorically, but also actual pants, real literal pants. Like doing that on a Broadway stage, and then like with George Salazar. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's like a highlight of my entire life. I had a moment teching that song where we were, when you're teching a show and you're in a light queue, for example, you oftentimes have to stand there for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, a half hour while they figure out the lights. And it was early in the song when I'm on stage by myself, and I just was standing there like in the Lyceum Theater, looking out at this empty house and just realizing that like everything I ever wanted to have happen for myself was happening. So like it has this, every time I did it, I like brought myself back to that moment of, do not take this for granted. This is the thing that you said from a little kid that you wanted to do, and you're doing it. Yeah. And so I never took that for granted. As a song, I mean, it's just like, it's like such a slice of heaven. It's like a little, And I don't actually, it's not little, it's big, but it just, like you said, it starts in this place. And I think that character, starts in a place where it's a depressed person trying to find the motivation to take the next step in their life. And we get to see it through a song that sounds like the theme song from an 80s TV show, that by the end of it, we are like rooting so hard for this guy. And also we get to like bring in, like you said, George and this character of Michael Mell, who also needs a little kick in the butt. I think what's cool actually from a difference from the Two River version to the Broadway version of the Pan song is that I think Michael in the Two River version was already a bit more, he had been rejected by Jeremy. And so he was sort of over him, but he was in a position to tell Mr. Here, like, this is what you need to do. But I think in the Broadway version, he also needed Mr. Here to say, listen, he needs you right now. And so like, we need each other to like build each other up to get to a point to support our son and friend. And like, let's do this together. But every night I would get off stage and, I had a lot of quick changes in the show. So there wasn't a lot of time backstage to like dilly dally, but, and actually right after that, we were heading into like the Pitiful Children sequence. And so George also had a lot to do right after that song. But we always made sure that we just hugged each other and just said, I love you to each other, because we both recognize that is a damn special thing to sing a song like that on a Broadway stage with a person that you just respect so much and love so much. And like I said, these are the moments in your life and in your career that you need to acknowledge and recognize as special, because they're few and far between. And to have that experience on my first Broadway show, with such a crew, I mean, it was, I keep using the word special, but I feel like special doesn't quite give it its due. But yeah, I mean, the best thing I could have hoped for.
And you could tell from the audience how special it was. You can tell when something on stage is real and acted, and when those two things combine, it is special, right? It is this like magical moment.
Absolutely. And there was a moment early, there was a show, a preview, I think, like in one of the first previews, where at the end of the song, George and I like charged downstage, and George fell. George slipped on his like socks and he fell. And so he was fine. He got up and like we had a laugh and it was great. But every time we did the song thereafter, in the back of my mind, I wondered if he was going to fall again. And so every time we did the song, it was like, this is so dangerous. This could end in disaster, and none of these people know what I'm thinking. But part of what I'm thinking is he could fall and slide into the front row of this theater. But he was fine. It never happened again. But I always kind of hoped it would. I didn't want him to get hurt, but like, it was so fun when it happened,
Yeah, I do love those moments where people have to accommodate for like these random things. If no one gets hurt, right? Like if someone gets hurt, that's no good. But when I wish I could have been at that show, I can't remember who it was, where like they were sweating so much through their like microphone. I think it was Gerard when he was playing the lead, and like they had to like spray can him. Do you know this story? Because I think you were out too. I think, were you?
I think actually I had been hurt with my leg at that time.
Yeah.
No, but there were a few times actually where, not just with Gerard, but with like Will or whoever else, there was like the mic's going out, or like there's a thing happening, and those moments are so fun as an actor, because really the audience doesn't necessarily know that there's an issue. Of course, a mic going out, they'll hear that. But when it gets fixed, everyone is like, this is so fun. Everyone's like helping each other out. And I love as an actor, like coming into those moments and like fixing it in a sly way. There's some moments where it's like, you're about to make an entrance and the stage manager will say like, there's a piece of paper that like for some reason got like stuck in this track on stage left. We need you to pick it up on your way by. And so that thing where you can like find a fun way in your weirdo character to like make it part of your cross and figure it out. I love all that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And Cindy's saying, yes, I was there for that. And it's like, you know, people remember those moments. Like, and I remember, I'm so grateful that I got to see Be More Chill. I want to say like 5 or 6 times, which is pretty cool.
That's very cool.
Like in previews and once it was open. And I remember early on, like George was, I think, like he was doing like the Michael makes an entrance, which is just like one of my favorite moments in the show.
Absolutely, yeah.
I have so many favorite moments. Who can help me? Yeah. But then like at one point, you know, he's going to like throw the bag. My like memory of the timing of this show, but it like didn't go all the way off stage like it was supposed to, and I think like someone kicked it. It was just like this whole sequence of events where everyone's trying not to laugh, but like, you know, you have to work together so that it happens, and then like once it does, the audience cheers. It's those are fun moments.
Absolutely. So what I'm hearing from you is that George is responsible for all of the unprofessional moments that happened during Be More Chill. You said it, not me. I'm just gonna like put it out there and just acknowledge that you said that, and that George is an unprofessional person.
My fault completely.
No. What a genius and a mensch and a beautiful man, that guy.
Yes, what a mensch indeed. So it's also making me think of how many characters did you play? And I remember we were talking about that you had other characters with like the lunch lady, lunch man.
Yes.
Like, tell me about
very good. Yeah, so I played many characters in the show, and some to varying degrees of presence in the show. The sort of biggest ones that I played were Mr. Here, Mr. Reyes, and also the scary stock boy who sold the squip to Jeremy. But there were a couple like random drive-by characters. One of which was during the smartphone hour. I came down from the heavens on a hydraulic situation, and I always thought of that character as a cheerleader of unknown age and sexuality and gender, and just a being that came down from the heavens. So I played that character in Smartphone Hour. But yes, you're right. There were in the opening number. I think I also played a bus driver briefly in the opening number. Who also, that was my big, when we did the opening number at Good Morning America, I got to be the bus driver on Good Morning America. So thank you everyone that made that happen. But in addition to that character, I also, for a brief time, played a lunch lady and an art teacher, a female art teacher. And it was, I think the idea was that like, the more we can populate this high school world with people, it will feel more realistic and more chaotic, you know, to see Jeremy just like having people passing through his day like we all did in high school. But it was the timing of the changes was just so intense that it never quite happened. And actually the lunch lady character, who was like one of my favorite costumes to wear, she was just like full bodysuit, wig, the whole thing, and she had this huge tray of peas that she was carrying across the stage, and I never quite made it in time for the scheduled entrance, and so I always just like really awkwardly walked through Michael's entrance. So when he's doing the Jeremy, my buddy, how's it? There was me, like really awkwardly just walking in the back, and everyone's like, "Is that the dad? Like, why? Like, what is the dad wearing, and what's happening right now?" And so it went from that character into this art teacher character. It just became too much for everyone to wrap their heads around and to make happen in a realistic way. So they were cut, sadly, early in the show, early in previews.
Do you have any pictures of yourself dressed as them?
I do, and actually, I have a really fun Easter egg thing for you. Is that before the pants song, there's the scene leading up to the pants song where Mr. Here is watching the news. Mm-hmm. Like he comes out on this flat and there's a TV on, and it's like the news story of the fire. The newscaster is a woman who's played by me, and so we did this exactly. We did this whole day where we did this video shoot with me as this newscaster. in like full beat, full again, bodysuit, dress, the whole thing. And I just loved that character, and I loved that day of filming was so bizarre and fun. And it was my own little secret that it would always come on, and there I was. And I think actually they ended up losing the video for it because for whatever reason, it had to be something else. Yeah. But the audio was still my voice or something. It was like I was always like my own scene partner in that part of the show. So it's a little Easter egg. And I do have some great pictures and video of that day of filming that. So I'll put those out in the world if you want to see me as what I think was a very beautiful newscaster. I will share that with the world for sure.
From one newscaster to another.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know if people know, like I was an on-air reporter for CBS 7 News in West Texas before I moved out to Broadway, So
So you understand.
I get it. And so there was also that moment in Broadway Bounty Hunter, if I remember correctly, where you and Lance had like a moment on the screens.
Yeah, absolutely. So at the end of the show, for people that don't know what Broadway Bounty Hunter is, my brief synopsis is that it's like a woman of a certain age, an actress, an out-of-work actress who gets a new lease on life by becoming a bounty hunter and helps to save the future of theater and all of Broadway and learns to love again. And there you go, easy peasy. But she becomes a real bounty hunter. And so she's like capturing criminals. And so at the end of the show, there's a sort of like epilogue montage, photo montage of her like living her best bounty hunter life and capturing criminals. And Lance and I do make appearances as a couple of those criminals. So it's that will always live on as my biggest, my most infamous moment as a criminal in musical theater is being captured by Annie Golden. And we filmed those. We shot those like right on the street outside of the theater a couple days before tech and all of that. So, it's a fun little Easter egg for people that know the show.
Yeah, I love those Easter eggs. Like, I'm always a fan of like looking out for them and like pointing them out to the person next to me, which I'm sure is so much fun. If you're seeing a show with me, like, look at that.
Right. Shut up. We get it.
Watch the show. No, don't worry, I don't talk. But it is very fun. Teresa's asking, was it scary coming down from that thing?
My short answer is absolutely the worst thing I've ever done in my life. Yes. My longer answer is that when the idea was first proposed to us, and it was an early idea where it was like, George is going to come down on one side and SweetTooth is going to come down on the other, and it's going to be cool. And I was like, this is awesome. This is a dream come true. Like, I'm going to get to fly in a Broadway theater. Listen, you guys, it's the worst thing that ever happened to me because I have a terrible fear of heights, and I should have taken that into account when I agreed to do this, because no one said like you have to do this, but I was like, I'm going to do this and it's going to be great. And every day, and I did it, I don't know how many times, a couple hundred times. Every time I did it, I had a near panic attack. I was like Evan Hansen up there, crying my eyes out, waiting to come down. And the funniest thing was if you can, for those that didn't see it, George and I came down in these like lit up like iPhone cases essentially, and George was on stage right and I was on stage left. But the entrance to get up there was on stage right. And so George, because of his costume changes or whatever, was there first. And so he was in there and he had no problem with it. He was like happy as a little clam up there, just enjoying his life. And so I would have to walk by him on this little tiny catwalk above the stage, already freaking out to get to my spot. And I would walk by him and he would be like kicking his legs and like having a grand old time. And there's nothing underneath you. He's just like hanging out. And as I walked by, without fail, every time, I promise you, he said, I would walk by and he would go, oh my God. Like he would pretend that he was falling so that I would just shit my pants before going on. And so that was really cool of him to do. And then I would get loaded into the thing. And there was like a little clip that was built into my costume that would also clip into the iPhone unit. And it was this real illusion of safety that was like so not real. Like if my 250-pound frame like tipped out of this thing, it would have just, there was no way that this little cable would have just, and if it did, it would have been like, I would have been dangling in like the worst way. But there was like crew members up there and stage managers to get me all set up. And they always wanted to chat with me and be like, how's the day? Like, how's it going? And I just couldn't, I wanted to like zone out. I would like breathe and be zen about the whole thing. And it would come that point in the song where it would start to go down. And actually before it would go down, it would have to go up. So I was on a platform and it would go up and then the platform would lift out and then I'd like be ready to go. So there's just nothing underneath you. And it's like, really, I mean, anyone that doesn't have an issue with heights, it's probably not a big deal at all. But the moment you start to imagine yourself falling out of it, you're like, am I making myself fall? Like, am I willing this to happen now? Like, and the other weird end of it is you would get to the ground and then have to unclip yourself to get to join the rest of the song. And there's like a very short window of time in the music to do it. And so I feel like every time I almost freaked out, like not being able to get the hook undone. It never actually happened and it was always fine. But no, the short answer is I hated it and it was awful. But it was a cool effect.
It also
was
sounds
a very cool
like it was
effect.
still George's fault for everything.
Again, yes, he is continuing. What I'm really realizing in this entire story is that he has ruined my life. George Salazar has ruined my life.
George, you're welcome on any time to defend yourself.
Don't stand up for him. He's a menace. That guy.
Sounds like it. Total menace. Whew. So let's switch gears a little bit because time is just flying by. It's amazing what happens when you're having fun. So I want to talk a little bit about Freaky Friday. Tell me about that journey.
Freaky Friday was a beautiful time in my life. And it was actually, aside from the show, which I loved doing, it was a really special time for me personally because I just had, my daughter, Mara, was just turned a year old. She was just about to turn a year old. And we went on the road with Freaky Friday. And we did the show at Signature Theater in Arlington, and then La Jolla Playhouse, and then Cleveland Playhouse, and then the Alley Theater in Houston. So it was just like essentially a year that I was doing the show, and then with my family and my wife Molly. To her amazing credit, she's the real reason that it happened. Because when I got the opportunity, I got cast in the show, but I got cast very late in the process. And they basically said, Christopher Ashley, who was the director, called and said, we would love for you to do this, but we start rehearsal on Tuesday. And it was like Thursday of the previous week. And it was like, can you clear a year of your life? And I know you just had a daughter and all of this stuff. And my initial thought was, oh man, wouldn't that be cool? But I can't do it. But I mentioned it to Molly, and I promise you, without like batting an eye, she was like, you have to do this. Like, we will make this happen. And, that's been her MO sort of as a partner through our entire relationship. So I don't know why I expected anything less than that. But she like took a sabbatical from her job and left that. And we went on the road with Freaky Friday. As a show, so I got to see my daughter grow up in all these places, which is like the coolest thing ever. And to like be with a 1-year-old in La Jolla, California, it's unbelievable. It's like you're in paradise. Your wife can like be a part of your journey. Yeah. I would come home from work and like spend my days with my daughter. It was like this amazing moment. But as a show itself, I just loved Freaky Friday. I think Freaky Friday is like, again, talk about bops for days. Like every song is so catchy. And there's so much heart in Freaky Friday. Yeah. And I don't think that the people involved needed to put that much heart into it because they are of the caliber of writer that they are. and director. But all of those people, Tom Kitt and Brian Yorkie and Bridget Carpenter and Sergio Trujillo, all these people that were on the creative team really like wanted to create a story that spoke to especially women and girls, I think, about self-worth and identifying with your mothers. And I don't know, the intentions behind the show were so pure that I think it really came through in the product itself. And also to record that album was a dream come true for me. It was the sort of first like major cast album I had been a part of. And the cast was insane. Heidi Blickenstaff, who was the lead, Emma Hunton. I mean, just like it checked all the boxes. I was like, this is going to be an amazing thing. And I will say this too, not to be like too political, but we were doing the show at Signature when Donald Trump got elected. And for many of us, that was not a cool thing. If that's your thing, we'll talk later. But it was an emotional morning, and we were there early the next morning because we had a student matinee to do a Freaky Friday at Signature. And just Heidi Blickenstaff rallying the troops to just be like, hey, listen, we are feeling lots of things right now, probably. And what we can do right now is tell this story about acceptance and self-love and all of these things that we think deserve to be celebrated right now. Yeah. And it was just in that moment that I was like, I am so lucky to be working with Heidi Blickenstaff, who is just this, like, aside from her talent, and she's like unmatched as a person, she's a leader, she's just like, she's a beautiful human being. And that will always stick out to me as like a weird highlight of the experience for me. But I love Freaky Friday. Yes.
Wow. I could not even imagine performing that day or the next day. But it is crazy in these like adversity times, like what we're going through now, like the moments of joy, the sparks that come out of it, because, you know, people are feeling however they're feeling, and that's okay. But you do see some people like who just shine, and it's nice to be able to be around them and share that light from that star.
Absolutely.
And definitely, I know a lot of people are talking about this, and I also want to know, like, this new little baby in your life, so cute.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Flory is her name. Flory Susan Williams. She, you know, it's like, she's unbelievable. She's like so super cute and a baby. So she doesn't do much yet, but like poop and cry, but she's like starting to smile like at things that I do, which is like the most rewarding thing ever. And yeah, like it's my new family. I have this like extension to my family. And so that's like my new life. The weirdest part about it is that she was born during this coronavirus time. And so her sort of existence has paralleled the developing virus, you know? And so with every milestone that she celebrates, we're like, here's another grim number of people that have a virus or who have died from this thing. And so I don't know if to me, it's offering hope, but it's a weird thing to sort of chart a person's life in terms of other people suffering. So it's a very sort of weird thing. And, also she was born in February, at the end of February, and we very shortly after left New York to come stay with my parents, who are amazing, but we're not home, and so there's this sense of like my little baby, my newborn baby hasn't experienced her home, and we haven't been able to like settle where we live, and it's all very up in the air. And even still, we're hoping to get back to New York soon, but we don't want to go back to sitting in our apartment, because although many people are doing that, but just that we have a better situation currently where we are. So so yes, it's very complicated, and but actually it's been a great beautiful distraction from the horrors of some of the stuff that's going on. And I also don't have a lot of time for much else these days, because in addition to my amazing 4-year-old, I have this cute little 6-week-old that's just like kicking around and being amazing.
Wow. And it is such an odd time and experience, but also so cool that you do get that bonding time to be with the family.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's nothing else to do but be together, so it's very formative, I think, for her and for all of us. And uh, like I said, we're very lucky to be in that position, so we'll take it. And she's healthy, we're healthy, and what else can I ask for? You know, even if you took away this whole coronavirus thing, I think caring for a newborn is nerve wracking in terms of keeping them safe and healthy. And so the fact that she is, knock wood, is great.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to take that positivity into a little a cappella number if you want to sing for us.
Sure. I wasn't sure what to do for an a cappella number because some songs are just not good a cappella. Like I was like, maybe I should do Franklin Shepherd Inc. from Merrily We Roll Along, but you just cannot do like a patter song, I feel like a cappella in the way that it's meant to be. And then I was going to do lesson number 8 from Sunday in the Park with George, but Mandy Patinkin, that old idea stealer, had to do it in his own private park and take my idea. So I thought, actually, speaking of hopeful songs, and in honor of my collaboration with Joe and the family, that I would do a song from Blood Song of Love. And I got my little xylophone from Mara. He didn't show me borrow. So Blood Song of Love is a spaghetti western musical about a musician who is searching the desert for the long lost love of his life, and who is trying to maintain his reputation as an artist in a time that is trying to beat him down, in a world that's trying to beat him down. And it's about being true to yourself and being true to your arts and all of these things. And I was in a production of it at Ars Nova in 2010. So 10 years ago now. We just actually celebrated our 10-year anniversary. And in the original production was myself and Eric William Morris and Katrina Rose Diedrichson, Jeremy Morris, Lance Rubin. And it's just this I consider it a high watermark of my career. So anyway, the show begins with this song. Ain't got no home that I call mine. Boneyard, junkyard does me fine. Money ain't what living is about. Just give me land beneath my feet, some whiskey rivers to deplete, a captive ear to hear me when I shout, calling for the outlaw wandering the lonely road. Wanted here, wanted here, wanted here. Outlaw, I can help you bear the load. Wanted here, wanted here, wanted here. Don't worry about the others. Come walk amongst your brothers. Whoa. Outlaw, wandering the lonely road. Wanted here, wanted here, wanted here. Although the road is awful long, I keep my conviction strong, even when confronted by a threat. Hey, cynic, keep your golden gun. Flex your muscles, have your fun. The heart's the only muscle worth my sweat. Woo, yeah, and I flex that fucker every chance I get. Oh, outlaw, wandering the lonely road. Wanted here, wanted here, wanted here. Outlaw, I can help you bear the load. Wanted here, wanted here, wanted here. Don't place no expectation. Just focus on your goal. The total obligation to the impulse of your soul. Oh, outlaw, listen to my simple ode. As you roam, as you roam, as you roam. Outlaw, wander in the lonely road. Welcome home, welcome home, welcome home.
Yay! Oh,
Yay. It's no ladies who lunch, but it'll do, I think.
that was amazing. And such a good anthem for right now. I felt like very motivated.
Good. Well, absolutely. I think we just need to keep, staying true to ourselves and finding ways to make the things that make us happy and can hopefully change the world.
That's all we can ask for. So I always love to end these asking about if there's anything you specifically came in here wanting to talk about. Maybe we could do a little Benny and June little comment here.
Oh, Benny and June. Yes. I mean, nothing specifically I wanted to talk about, but Benny and June is a musical that I did, a musical version of the movie that I got to do a couple of years ago. And I will say one thing about Benny and June is that I got to work with, a brilliant cast all around, but particularly stuck out to me was Bryce Pinkham, who played Sam, who was the Johnny Depp character from the movie. And having worked with that person, I have a new respect for work ethic and for bringing creative ideas into a room. And so I think it's just kind of funny to end with this specific thing, but I just think it's always important in whatever you do to bring your best, hardest working self and never apologize for the ideas that you have and for the level of work that you want to come through.
Incredibly well said, and something we could all use right now. And as promised, is there anything you want people to keep an eye out for you? Any specific nonprofits or charities that you love people to look out for?
Well, I would say I would love for, it's more selfish than nonprofit, but I would love for people to check out the Broadway Bounty Hunter album on Ghostlight Records. It just came out last week, and we're so proud of it. And, it stars Annie Golden and Brad Oscar and Alan H. Green and this amazing cast. And I think is worth the iTunes fee that it costs to download it. And also just, I would say, support the theaters that meant something to you who are struggling right now to continue seasons next year and life as a company in general. Specifically for me, our Transport Group, Ars Nova, and smaller companies that really rely on galas and ticket sales and things that just cannot happen right now, who are always sort of living financially on the edge, but who are also creating the type of work that is sustaining us all emotionally and artistically. So give what you can to those theaters, buy a subscription, give a gift card, drop an anonymous donation, and help them out.
Yeah, for sure. Theaters do so much, and especially these nonprofit ones or the smaller ones that are helping launch all of the bigger ones that they started from somewhere small or not so small with 54 Below, those little things that we
yes.
see.
We know you famously think amateur hour is happening at 54 Below. We covered this.
I did.
No, but it's very important for sure.
Yeah. And I remember when seeing you perform the Muppets with Gerard Canonico, that was just so much fun. I know I keep saying the last thing, but you just inspire me so much. So I just have all these little things I wanted to talk about. And you even had a coronavirus insert number here.
We
who
did.
Thought of that?
We did. It was a different time. We had a little hand washing joke at the end of the song. But I love the Muppets and I love Gerard, and I love 54 Below. It's perfect storm of great fun things. Why not?
I love that little thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna carry this with me always now.
Dun 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 dun. As you should. Thank you so much. A few little housekeeping things for people to check out. As I mentioned earlier, Nick Blameyer is coming on next Wednesday at 5 p.m. So very excited. Jasmine Forsberg, who was in Broadway Bounty Hunter.
Yay!
She is coming on. We're still figuring out the time, but sometime next week. And then the incredible Mandy Gonzalez is coming on too.
Wow.
So just like,
well, that's like a lineup and a half. My God.
I know.
Good for you.
Thank you. I'm very excited. There are so many positive things that in this crazy negative world, I'm trying to just like spark joy, feel inspired, because that's all we can do. Personally, I have a Patreon. I call them my Showtreons. It's under Bwaysho. Just type in patreon.com/Bwaysho if you like to support your local reporters as well as your local artists. So check out the Actors Fund, Broadway Cares, Equity Fights AIDS. Always love to give them a shout out. Thank you so much, Jason SweetTooth Williams. You are amazing, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, and be good. Be safe. Be healthy.
Thanks. Bye.